This video, let us learn examples on single dimensional array. So first we need to do one by one example. First one, write a program to read first half of the elements from a given array. So first we need to start writing the program now. Single dimensional array .java. Now we can start now we have to write the main method. In the main method, we can declare an array and we can read the elements from the array. First we can declare an array. So already array is available. We can declare an array now. So in this array, we should read first half of the elements. Read first half of the elements. So how we can able to read means is for int I is equal to 0, I less than arr dot length minus length divided by 2. We should use it, and I plus plus. Suppose if currently it contains equal number of elements. If elements are not equal, then based on that particular size, it will start reading. S out, we can print arr of I. So now if we can start execute, it displays the 10, 20, 30. So it takes time to execute. So now it displays elements called 10, 20, 30 because we are displaying the first half of the elements. In second program, write a program to read second half of the elements. Second half of the elements from a given array. So again, we can create even Java class .java and we should write main method. So in this first we need to declare an array. So we can declare an integer array. We can declare any array. For example purpose, we are taking the integer array. So once after getting the integer array, read second half of the elements. Read second half of the elements. So how we can able to read? Yes, we can use for loop. So we should read from some second half onwards. So that's the reason int I is equal to arr dot length divided by 2. And next one called I less than arr dot length and I plus plus. Okay, we are starting from second half of the elements only. So now as soon as we can execute, it should display 40, 50, 60. So yes, we can able to read second half of the elements. So in the next example, third one, write a program to find sum of all elements from a given array. Any sum of all elements means obviously it should be integer array from the given integer array. So how to do this particular program? So now again go and create a new class. The class name was 8.java. So now we need to specify the main method. First we should declare the array. So obviously it is an integer array. Either you can take the integer array or double array, anything. So in our case, we are taking the integer array. Now find the sum of all elements. So how we can achieve the sum of all elements means, so first thing, for int I is equal to 0, I less than arr.length and I plus plus. First step, we'll try to display whether we can able to print the elements from the array properly or not. First we can try to print the elements, all the elements. Yes, we can able to print the all the elements. So instead of printing all the elements, we should find the sum. Sum means 10 plus 20 plus 30 plus 40 plus 50 plus 60. In this we need to print. How we can able to achieve means, we can take one variable int sum equal to 0. Instead of printing, we have to use arithmetic addition assignment operator. Sum is equal to sum plus arr of I. So now we need to use print statement. Suppose currently we are concerned about the final result. So you don't need to write system.out.println within the body of the loop. We should write outside. Sum of all elements. Sum of all elements. You can just print sum. So now if we can execute, it should provide the result 210. We'll see now whether it's 210. So now we can try to execute one more program. The program is in this way. Write a program to read first half of the elements from the given array in the reverse order. Given integer array, any kind of array, it can be in reverse order. Reverse order. So how we can able to do? See, the currently the 10, 20, 30. So it's supposed to display 30, 20 and 10. In this way it should display. How we can able to achieve this one, we'll see now. So create a class called 9.java and we should write the main method psvm. Okay, now we should declare an array and assign the elements. So these are the basic examples only what we are discussing. Now we need to display first half of elements in reverse order. So how to display first half of the elements in reverse order? First, yes, we can go with for loop. For int I is equal to, so we need to provide arr.length -1. So not -1 divided by 2, because we'll start from first half only. Next, I greater than equal to 0, I minus. So as soon as if we can print arr of I, it displays elements in reverse order. So now it should give the result called 30, 20, 10. So we'll see now 30, 20, 10. Now it was providing the value called how much? 40 also. So in order to -1 we need to do. So how to do -1? arr.length divided by 2. So -1. Again if we can execute, it provides 30, 20, 10. Yes, now it is providing the appropriate result. First half of the elements in reverse order we are printing. So in the next case we need to perform fifth one. So fifth one we need to perform how means, write a program to read second half of the elements. Second half of the elements from a given integer array in reverse order. How to do this particular one we'll see now. Now we will open the Eclipse. Now we need to perform the next program. What is the next program? The second half of the elements we should print it in a reverse order. .java. So now we should write main method, public static void main method. We should write it. First we need to declare the array and assign the elements. This is the fundamental step as we need to do. So here we should print second half of the elements. Second half of the elements in reverse order. Second half of the elements we should print it in a reverse order. Again we can go for our loop. Int I is equal to, so we need to provide arr.length -1 and I greater than I less than is equal to we need to provide arr.length divided by 2 and I minus we need to provide. So now, so I value 5. No, we have to write greater than is equal to, not less than is equal to. Now if we can write system.out.println arr of I. As soon as if we can execute, it provides the result called 60, 50 and 40. 60, 50 and 40. Yes, we are printing the second half of the elements in reverse order. And we can see one more basic example, because what are the examples we are discussing? These are basic examples only for your just our basic knowledge purpose only. So we can do one thing, write a program to concatenate all the elements of character array. So all the elements of the character array we should perform the concatenation. So how we can able to do? Yes, again, so suppose there is a character array, it contains 5-6 characters. We should concatenate all the characters. Yes, we can start writing a program. We create a Java class 11.java and we need to define the main method. First we need to create an array. Declare a character array and assign elements. How to do this one? Char is equal to, we can provide some of the elements. How to provide means Q, W, E, R, T, Y. Yes, these are the elements are available in a character array. So now we should concatenate all the elements from the character array. Concatenate all elements from character array. How to do concatenate? So we can use for loop for int I is equal to 0, I less than ch.length and I plus plus. So now if we can print system.out.println print ch of I. So now if we can execute, so it's showing the result as concatenation. Actually this is not a proper concatenation. So then what exactly the meaning of concatenation? Currently we are printing. Since we are using a print instead of println, these characters are printing side by side. This is not an actual concatenation. In order to perform the concatenation, as create a one string variable. So it contains blank value, null, not null, blank string, empty string. So now what we have to do now here means we no need to print str is equal to str plus ch of I we need to perform. This is called the actual concatenation. Now print str now As soon as if we can execute, now it provides the appropriate result. Of course, result is same, but this is the actual concatenation compared to the previous result. This is the appropriate concatenation. Yes, we have done the concatenation of all the character, the elements which are available in the character array. So now we will discuss about one more program. Write a program to concatenate all the elements of string array. Elements of string array and make a sentence. So now yes, we'll try to perform this particular example now. Yes, we need to create one source file 2.java. It should contains the main method psvm. The first, okay, declare and assign elements. Yes, we can create an array. String s is equal to. So we need to try to print the temple. The temple is at the top of the hill. See now, the temple is at the top of the hill. Yes, there is a one string array. So now concatenate all elements of string array. So we can try to do now. So now we can try to execute for int I is equal to 0, I less than s dot length and I plus plus. So now if we can try to print s out, so now we can try to print s of I plus a space. If we can execute, so it shows as a concatenation. See, the temple is at the top of the hill, but this is not a appropriate concatenation. You are just printing what exactly the meaning of concatenation means. Is create one string variable, string str is equal to blank string or empty string. Now we need to use assignment or addition assignment operator, but here the both operands are string. It is going to act as a concatenation operator. Str plus s of I, now one space. Now if we can try to print the value str, now this is called the appropriate concatenation. This is called the actual concatenation. So it provides the result as the temple is at the top of the hill. Now we can discuss about one more basic example. There are two given integer arrays. Integer array. Okay. Based on these two integer array, create a resultant array. So what exactly the meaning? The meaning is in this way. So int x is equal to, suppose it contains element 1, 2, 3. So again there is one more array, int y is equal to, it contains element 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what is the meaning of resultant array? The resultant array, RESUL, the resultant array should contain all the elements of the array x and as well as y. So it should contain 1, 2, 3, comma, now we should contain 4 5 6 7 8 9. So this is called the resultant array. The resultant array should contain all the elements of the first integer array and second integer array. So now we will try to do this particular example. So instead of same elements, we can take this, of course you can take the same elements or different elements. Okay, now we can try to do this particular example now. So instead of this one, instead of 1 2 3, I am planning to take 10 20 30 in this way. Yes, we can try to create our own source file. Declare two integer arrays. So we can make it as a int a is equal to, or you can make it as the same name only we will try to provide, is equal to 10 20 30. That is the one array. The another array is in this way, y is equal to, you can provide the elements 40 50 60 70 80 90. Yes, this is the second array. The x is the first array, y is the second array. Now based on these two array, create a resultant array. So it should contain elements of x and element of y. First we need to decide the size of the resultant array. Suppose int resultant is equal to new int of, so we need to find x dot length plus y dot length. So the number of elements in x plus the number of elements in y array. So that is the size of the which one? Resultant array. Yes, we have decided the size of the resultant array. Now assign elements. Assign first integer array elements. So how we can able to assign? Yes, we can start using for loop now. So how we can able to use for loop means, for int I is equal to 0, I less than x dot length, length, x dot length. Do you have array called x? Yes, why it's giving this particular error message? Again we can write one more time. For int I is equal to 0, I less than. So what is the mistake? What is the problem we have done here means, the interesting one, we have forgot to define the main method. Yes, that is the challenging one. So PSVM. So main is a mandatory one because it is an entry point. Without main method we can't do anything. Yes, now we can able to read the elements. For int I is equal to 0, I less than x dot length and I plus plus. So now we should assign the elements now. How I can able to assign? Of course I can substitute the I value for the resultant also. Instead of this one we can take one separate variable. The resultant k is equal to x of I and k is equal to k plus 1, because we need to increment the index of resultant also. So assign first integer array elements. Next assign second integer array elements. In our case second is nothing but which one? Y. Again for int I is equal to 0, I less than y dot length and I plus plus. So here same thing you need to provide. Resultant of k is equal to y of I, and k is equal to k plus 1. Now everything was assigned into the all the elements, all elements of x and all elements of array y. Currently everything was stored in the resultant array. Now we can read the element from resultant array. Read elements from resultant array. How we can able to read? Yes, we can use for loop for int j is equal to 0, j less than resultant dot length and j plus plus. So now we can try to print the elements now. Resultant of j. As soon as if we can execute, here the resultant should display all the elements. Which are the elements? Elements from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So this example represents we have two integer arrays x and y. What are the elements are available in array x and what are the elements are available in array y? We would like to store it in a one more third array, the resultant array. For that purpose, we have decided the size of the resultant array. How we can decide the size of the array? The size of the resultant array is nothing but the number of elements in the x array and plus number of elements in the y array. And now we have to read the array x and parallelly we need to assign elements into resultant array. Similar way, we have to read the element from array y and we need to assign into a resultant array. And finally, we are reading the element from the resultant array. So in this video, we have discussed about very basic and simplest and interesting examples of an array. That is called single dimensional array. Thank you.